Okay, I'm going to show you a really simple mobilization or stretch to help improve your shoulder range of motion, specifically shoulder external rotation. What you want to do before this exercise is just kind of test out like what your range of motion looks like. My suggestion is either lay down on the floor or go up against the wall, place your elbows about shoulder height, and then see how well you can rotate both arms, trying to get your hand and wrists as close to the wall as possible. If you notice any asymmetries where, or maybe your arms don't even get anywhere near the wall once you get the elbows up, that's going to be your shoulder external rotation. Full range of motion is going to look as close as possible to where my entire forearm is essentially going to be on the floor or on the wall when I do this. To get into the exercise, what you're going to need is you're going to need either a really soft ball that you can comfortably lay on. If you don't have that, you can also use a yoga block. You want to make sure that if you do use a yoga block, that you're not using the yoga block that is like 3 or 4 inches in thickness. You're going to want to get one that's about like 2 to 2.5 inch thick. So that's a little bit more comfortable to lay on top of since it's more dense than a soft kickball. So what you're going to do for this exercise is you're going to lay on top of the ball or the yoga block. You want the ball or yoga block to be on those lower ribs. They're a little bit more mobile, so it's going to be more comfortable versus placing the ball too high underneath the armpit where the ribs tend to be stiffer. So we're not going to get much of a benefit when it's that high. So lay on your side, knees a little bit bent. Get that ball or yoga block situated, and then you really want to feel that your body is draped over the ball. When you lay down, we don't want to prop up on our hands because that's not going to be enough to get the ribs moving to allow the shoulder blade to really move and mobilize in the way we want it to. So let yourself come down and drape yourself over the ball, and then you may want to just use one hand to help give your head at least a little bit of support. So we're working on our right shoulder here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in and then a full exhale. And then we're going to reach our arm overhead. And then with every exhale, you want to feel that you're moving through the shoulder blade and you're pushing and reaching that arm away from your body. Notice that I keep a bend in my elbow and I want my elbow to always face upwards towards the ceiling. That bend is going to be important because we're adding that external rotation in as we're breathing to get the ribs moving. So with each exhale, I'm going to try to reach a little bit more, keeping that bend in my elbow and making sure my elbow is always facing the ceiling. After you do about 4 to 5 full breaths, reaching with each exhale, go back and either lay flat on the floor or get up onto the wall and test your external rotation again to see if it is improved. If it still feels a little bit restricted or tight, or it's not matching your more flexible side, go ahead and do another maybe 2 or 3 more sets of 4 to 5 breaths, adding the reach until your range of motion improves. You may need to do this multiple times a week to get full range of motion, depending on how restricted you are. But you should have a baseline of what your range of motion looks like before you do this, and then checking afterwards to see if you're doing it effectively. So that's going to be our simple shoulder mobilization for the shoulder blade.